1970.
I started
You
Brookline
guys
in
ready?
1969.
That was 70.
All right, Chuck. Go ahead, start us from the beginning.
Well, I just come out of service and everything else to that, and I worked on the north side, West Park, and broke the gangs up there and everything else to that. And I went in and I said, I'd like to do this the following year. And he said, you're not going anywhere. We're going to send you one of the nicest parks in the city of Pittsburgh, and that was Moore Park. I started in 67. I decided to bring a boxing team in the center. The first year we went out, and there's one team in that from a minority center in that was winning every year. And we went in there and we took the championship off of the first year. And I remember him coming up to me and he was bringing his trophy over to me. I still have it at home. And he said, here, this is yours. He said, we won it all these years yet, but your team won it. And he gave me the trophy. That's how we started right there.
I started boxing training for him in 67, fought first for him in 68. And I stayed with him right up to the day before I went to the Marine Corps. And what I learned from Chuck, the training that I got through Chuck, it helped me throughout the Marine Corps. I fought in the Marine Corps. I fought all over the world, as a matter of fact. I had 8 international bouts and won all 8 of them. And all 8 of them were won because of basics. Basics that were taught by Chuck. I was always blessed with outstanding coaches, and this is the best.
I got a short story. I have a trophy over there from 1969. I was 12 years old. I'd run out of gas like halfway through the first round. So I'd sit down in the corner and Chuck would take my ribs and make me breathe. He said, Monk, breathe, breathe. And I'm like, oh. I was so tired I couldn't breathe. So I would breathe, I'd go in there, I'd kick the guy's ass, and I'd sit back down, he'd do the same thing.
One thing about Chuck with the boxing club, like down at the recreation center in Moore Park, was he didn't have a real boxing gym like this. We didn't have a ring. We had just a box in the game room bouncing off a ping pong table.
That's when the handsome guys started fighting when we went to the community center, right?
Yeah.
The handsome guys started
then he
fighting.
moved to the community center. And all the good-looking guys
Yeah, all the
club.
good guys fought for Chuck.
People come from all over the city, throughout the city, Allegheny County. And they came to our club because they heard about the Brookline Boxing Club. And all my guys, almost probably everyone here has probably at least won 1 or more championships in those 47 years. And we dominated. We have 50 team championships. No one's going to ever live long enough to break that record.
The community center, the basketball court. You ever watch an old Bruce Lee martial art movie? They're all just there's 5 rows of 25. Left jab. Hold.
Yeah, you're right.
Left jab. I'm guard.
Speaking of jabs,
Circle right, circle left.
Speaking of jabs, and that the newspaper wrote in there that all Brookline fighters know how to throw a jab. Because most people don't like to live on a jab. They go out there and try to battle. But our guys were boxers. And if we had a battle, we battled too. But I wanted to make boxers. I wasn't interested in going. A lot of times you go in there and see them breaking. I wouldn't let my guys get into breaks. That rules, you only have 3 rounds. They go, you can't be fooling around like that. A lot of people like to grab and wrestle and that, but our fighters knew how to fight.
I remember Joey was talking about the lines of fighters we had. It was always Davey, Muscles, and me were like the 3, counting to 4, 1, 2, jumping jacks or whatever. I missed one. I couldn't come, whatever. I was late. He calls me up. Chuck calls me up. Where you at? I said, Chuck, anybody can count to 4. I'm like, he looks at me, he says, Billy, you're the leader. You have to be. This is the way Chuck is. He said, you're the leader. You have to be here.
That was before cell phones.
I never forgot that. I never forgot that. You're the leader. You must, and Dave, it meant so much to me. Yeah, it was in, yeah.
He did the same thing in the Civic Arena when he fought Carl Jordan.
Yeah.
What an upset. I mean, Billy was a great fighter. On a scale of 10, probably a 9.5. Well, he was fighting a guy who I thought was the greatest fighter ever, Carl Jordan. And I didn't think Billy was going to win. It was for the gold medal, golden gloves, open division, I think, or at least novice.
Carl had about 100 more fights than Billy.
Carl had
all kinds of experience.
Probably 100 fights. Billy just jabbed him the whole time and boxed him, and he won the fight. And it was almost a miracle.
I remember, man,
Well,
the first time
stories
my
about
man
Bluff
brought me down to
stories.
the gym, he's like, you want to box or you want to do
Monzos.
karate? Right? I said, I want to go to boxing. I want to box. I'm like, Jesus. So he says, all right, we're going to go down to the boxing gym, right? We get up to Brookline, we get up to the rec center, and we walk into the basketball gym, right? I'm like, where's the boxing gym? Right, where's the ring, right? So Chuck, in his infinite wisdom, decides we're not going to leave him up there. We're going to bring him downstairs. My brother and I are down there, and we're going at it. He's telling us, all right, step, jab, etc. We get done. He turns to my old man. He says, I don't know, the older one's pretty good. He's not bad. I don't know about that little one, though, which was me, all right? And so that just made me want to try harder, obviously, right? I spent almost every Saturday down in that down in that gym, or down in that room down there. We were going Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursdays up in the gym, and Saturdays I was downstairs in that hot ass room, man. I'll tell you what though, I was in Bahrain, Saudi Arabia. It was 120 degrees. I'm pretty sure downstairs was 110.
Well, I first started with Chuck in 1998. It's like 15, 16. And then won state titles for him. Pittsburgh, won in Pittsburgh, and won state title for him. And traveled with him around for a while. And Muscles right here, Bob, after Chuck was getting out of boxing, Bob took me over and he was taking me all over the fight. Knew I had potential. Went to Carrick with him. We went up there. We won state titles. He used to call me too, just like Chuck, if I was in the gym. Or they wouldn't even let me in the gym like before the fights, because they knew I trained. He'd be calling us, "Where's Mark?" "Oh, he's out running." It's like the night before state finals, I'm out running. "He shouldn't be running. He should be at home resting." Always had the determination to go hard. And that's
Mark's first fight, I got to witness his first fight.
Oh, yeah.
I'll tell you, it was to say it was a bloody mess is to understate it. First round, kid pops him in the nose, blood goes everywhere, right? Every one of us were sitting there watching, are like, oh, we had big hopes for Mark, you know what I mean? But it doesn't look like it's gonna work. He hung in there. He had more heart than any other fighter that I've ever witnessed in the ring. And I don't care who it is, across the board, he had more heart than anybody else that I had seen before. Chuck, Muscles, they both attributed to that. I mean, they pushed him, and it was amazing to watch his first fight.
Mark was a throwback to like Chuck's fighters from the early years like us, because Mark was a good fundamental boxer, tough, a Brookline kid, which I liked, and Mark was always in great shape, and he fought a lot of good fighters all over the country, top guys in the country. And the third round, and then when they switched the amateur box from 3 to 4 rounds, Mark always come on strong at the end of his fights. And a lot of the fights and championships he won them late in the fight, against some quality fighters. He was an outstanding fighter of the state Golden Gloves when he beat William Boggs from Philadelphia, who was #1 in the country. Just fought some quality guys, but it was a throwback because he was in shape and won at the end of the fight. He was coming on.
He was a Brookline fighter.
I said, "Chuck, relax." I said, "Maybe something will happen. Maybe we'll get in a car accident on the way over to fights tonight." And we're sitting at the red light, all the boxers, we're all staying at the same hotel. And then here comes this kid that we're just talking about, walking across the street right in front of our car, coming from McDonald's across the street. I said, "Chuck, here he is." And I'm driving Chuck's car. Chuck said, "Go." He goes, I said, "Chuck, I can't do that." He goes, "Don't kill him, just hurt him so he can't fight."
Chuck took care of us. My brother and I started boxing in '71. We fought down there for 25 years, and nobody looked out for us better than it was our adopted father. I respect that.
We were young and took our minds when we were in our formative years and twisted them, but that's like a joke because Chuck just had such an influence on so many of us, so many people. Best thing ever happened to me and my brother was, moving to Brookline and, getting involved with Chuck in the boxing program.
It's not all about the boxing with Chuck. It's about people, relationships, kids. The basketball championships, the flag football, the soccer. Chuck would call kids nonstop. If we were there 8 hours, 7 hours he was calling, tracking kids down. "Hey, John, go up the boulevard, grab this kid. This kid's getting in trouble. Go here, call this one, do this." We had community kids programs. They had if they got in trouble, they'd come down there and work. Chuck would have them in the ring. "You think you're tough? Throw the headgear on them."
And then I'd go everywhere with my wife and everything else, and somebody would come up and say, Chuck, I had so many individuals, and it seems like everywhere I go, there's somebody that remembers the Charlie's Angels and the boxing team. and they know about these guys, and they ask about them all the time.
We were, we are, and we will always be Charlie's Angels.
Yes. That's right.
That's right.